Welcome everyone to another video tutorial. My name is Gabriel Carrillo, aka EdTech Bites, and we are here because we are going to make our own homemade chicken noodle soup. So let's get started. First and foremost, let's go ahead and gather our ingredients. The first couple things that we're going to need is obviously we're going to need carrot, celery, and I like to use 2 carrots, and I got 3 stalks of celery here. I've got an onion, but it's only really half of an onion because it's really all that we need, and I had that from a prior cook, so might as well use that. We've also got some green onion. I got 5 stalks, if you want to call them. We're going to use 3 for the cooking and 2 to actually serve and plate. We've also got some seasoning. I go with 1 teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning salt, as well as 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Not necessarily garlic salt, just garlic powder. And then some peppercorns. I like to make sure I add some peppercorns for a little bit of bite, as well as some crushed black pepper when we finish it off. And don't forget the star of the show, chicken. So I've got a whole young chicken here that we're going to be using, and I've got a 7-quart Dutch oven that we're going to be cooking this in. So now that we've got our ingredients, let's get to it. First and foremost, let's go ahead and cover our bird in our pot with some water. I'm going to go ahead and fill it up just so that the top of the chicken is underwater, and that way it can cook evenly. And I'm going to go ahead and fill that up, put that on the stove, and start getting that on a boil right away. So don't put it on low medium, crank that up to high because you want to get that water boiling ASAP. While that's going, let's go ahead and chop up our vegetables. First thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut up just a rough cut of the carrot and celery, onion, and green onion. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut those into rough chunks. This is not going to be for plating. This is not going to be served. The only thing that this is doing is adding those flavors to the actual chicken broth. So let's go ahead, get these cut up. As you can see, I'm not peeling anything. Everything's already washed. Go ahead and cut those up into roughly the same size pieces. And then when that water is boiling and I've got the chicken starting to go, I'm going to go ahead and turn that down a bit, and I'm going to go ahead and dump my vegetables into the water. So I've got my onion, my green onion, I've got the carrots, and I've got the celery all in there ready to go. And while that's going, I might as well go ahead and add my seasoning. So let's go ahead and dump that in. Got some whole peppercorns. Boom, let's go ahead and dump those in. And when you're cooking any sort of poultry, chicken, or anything, make sure you always cook to an internal temperature of at least 165. So look for the breast, the white meat, as well as the dark meat to be an internal temperature of 165. For me, it was roughly about an hour and a half. So I had that on a kind of a medium simmer boil for about an hour and a half. Make sure that that was cooked all the way through. And when that's done, what I like to do is I like to transfer everything rather than trying to pull stuff out with a skimmer or something. What I like to do is I like to just take that pot right over to the sink. I've got a colander inside of a really, really big bowl. Dump everything in there. That way I can separate the broth from the vegetables, from the chicken, and then go ahead and transfer that broth back in to your pot. This time you're going to set it to a low simmer, do any skimming that you need to, taste, adjust for your seasoning however you like, and then while that's going, we're going to actually let this chicken start to cool down a little bit. If you want, you could throw it in the refrigerator or the freezer for a couple minutes and let that cool down. And then eventually what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can pull this apart. So if you want to use the 2-fork method, grab yourself a couple forks, have at it, and start ripping that chicken apart into smaller chunks. You can even use this method that you're going to see here, which is a hand blender, and put all your chicken into a big bowl and set it on low, whatever you do. Don't put it on high or else you're going to have chicken all over your kitchen. And then go ahead and stir that, move it around. That way you get that chicken into smaller chunks. And then once you have it to the desired size, transfer that back into the pot. And then what we like to do is go ahead, dice your other carrot, your other stalk of celery, those other 2 green onions. Make sure you get those diced up into nice manageable pieces that'll fit on a spoon. Throw those back into the broth. Those we're actually going to eat and consume. and then adjust your seasoning as needed. Stir that around and boom, let's get our noodles in there too. As you can see, we've got these beautiful noodles. Let's get those in there and let those boil. Always refer back to the manufacturer's directions when it comes to boiling noodles. I want to say these were about 8-9 minutes. I let them go just a little bit longer because I couldn't get that boil to go where I wanted it to. But eventually, voila, homemade chicken noodle soup. As you can see, it's got beautiful color. It's got green, it's got the orange, it's got the noodles, it's got the chicken, and more importantly, it was homemade, it was made with love, it was made with the flavors that we want, not that box stuff, not that stuff that's in a can in your pantry with who knows how many milligrams of salt. We control the sodium, we control the flavor, we control everything. It's homemade. Serve that up to your family during these cold days, during these cold Rona days. Stuff's going around. Stay safe out there. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. You just made, or at least know how to make, your own homemade chicken noodle soup. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. Share it with others. Tag me on social media with pictures of your own chicken noodle soup at EdTech Bites. And don't forget to subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast, because I've got more great content, both podcast and YouTube, coming soon. And on that note, enjoy your chicken noodle soup and stay safe. Buen provecho.